Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's March 7th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and it was mostly downhill today. We had some pretty strong support right here around 2367.50, and you can see that once we got through, it acted as resistance after that. So that's been some pretty strong support. You can see we had some there yesterday. That was the lows of yesterday. So it took a little work to get through there. But notice that we're making lower highs each time we come back. That's a good sign that eventually you're probably going to push through. You still got to be careful getting short right into this. But once you get through there, if you come back and get a setup, like look at this double test here. Went higher first and double test it. Look at that high, and then it tested once, twice. And that would have been a great place to get short if it wasn't in the overnight session. But anyway, I wanted to point that out. But yeah, not a lot of trades today. Um, Mostly shorts today, and you really just didn't have a whole lot of those either. You can see there's a channel, looks like here, and notice that we overshot it here. You never really confirm it. This would have confirmed it, but it pushed on through. It still turns down. But notice we came up about that amount short as well, so that tells you that's probably a valid channel, but it doesn't really help you. Um, if you were still trading, you might have taken this trade here with this double top, a lower double top than that high. But there's just not much happening today. It's just more sideways kind of action. And the sell-off really didn't come until after 2 o'clock. So just not much happening there. But let's talk about the trades and we'll wrap it up. I'm a little late getting this done, but there's not many trades today, so this is not going to take long. We're working down here, and notice we come back to the EMA and trend line here. I got the trend line off these lows and drug it up. And you get a setup right here, but it's still, that's just a second touch. It's not confirming it. It's a doji, so there's really not a very good entry there, but it does make a double top, so the count starts over, then you get a first entry long, pull back second entry long, and notice this went higher, touched that EMA to the tick and turns down. Go short right there. It's a little bit, I went back and forth about this one, but I like this because it's the third touch of that trend line. It confirms the trend line. It had a little trap there, and most likely this is going to run on down. So I like this trade. It's real close to being able to say that it's a little aggressive because it's so close to that low. But again, notice how we're making lower highs every time, or double tops, and each time it pushes lower. And that's definitely a downtrend. So you probably want to consider that one, especially right at the 8 o'clock, because a lot of times they'll trick everybody, make them think it's going one way, and then reverse it. And that's exactly what happens there. Notice that we are going sideways here when we drop out. It's better to wait on a higher low, but you might have considered that for a run back to the EMA. This looks a little like a reversal pattern. I believe this is the one somebody asked me about, but it never ticks lower here, and this is just a first entry short. There are really two legs up there if you look, if you're looking deep into the price action. But I just don't think you want to go long right here, not with this being a break of this channel. If this was all still inside that channel, I'd say yes. But notice how we got a break. So all you know is it runs up, makes a new high, and turns back down again. Because that was fairly bearish, and we're going to probably retest that low, and we haven't done that yet. So I think that's risky. I don't think you want to take that one. And then you actually get the reversal pattern way up here, and you got two legs up, so you might have considered going long there, but we've already got a break and a huge move to a new high. You're entering way away from the EMA into another high, almost to the overnight resistance, so you can't enter there. But when it breaks up, I like that for a short, because I guarantee they trapped a lot of longs there, and you just go short there, and you would have caught a runner there. You would have caught a runner here most likely as well. And you can ride that all the way back down to these lows again. And you get a failed second entry long here, so you might have considered that one, but that just kind of sets up the trend line. You're better off to wait on that third touch, which comes here. So you could probably argue for that one. If that was a perfect signal bar, I'd say, yeah, maybe since it's a failed second entry long. but it doesn't close quite on its low. I'm willing to make it green. I think you're better off to wait on the next one. And you can see that came right here. And again, that's a pretty nice move down. You can ride that all the way to the lows. And then notice what happens. We make a double bottom right here. That's where you had a little support earlier and yesterday. And then it double tested. And that's a failed second entry short there that double tests right into that. So I like going long right there. And notice I measured this first move down. You move this over and you look for a measured move, and lo and behold, we got that basically to the tick. And then it bounced into the close. And of course, it's going lower now. But what you might do is measure this whole move down from a larger pattern. I'm more interested in today's patterns, but we'll play that, and you can see we're really close to that. We've actually gone a little further than that now, so we may bounce out of there. We'll see. But anyway, I like that short there, and or that long. We already talked about these two. And this one took a little while to work on up, but it does. It works on up, and you know your hope is that you catch a major low here and it rides all the way up to the very highs, but it doesn't. It comes up short, and notice it makes a low there, and then you get a double test right there. So again, I thought we'd probably go higher. You had to be concerned about this, but there's enough room there to get out, and so that's a fairly easy trade. And then again, I probably would have liked going short right here if it hadn't have been after 2 o'clock. Um, but that's really all there was today. There was 1, 2, 3 shorts and three red shorts and 1 blue long. And of course, you can always argue for these others, but and this one was, if we hadn't started stacking up here, I would have maybe even considered a short here with a really good setup bar, but you just don't get it because you do have what looks like a close outside there. It's not convincing though. And then you also, it was tempting to want to go long right there, but I was a little worried going long right there into a double bar matching top right there with resistance there and there. Uh, it would have worked, but it would have been, you know, you'd have been pushing it. You would have just barely got out. So I think the right move is to skip that one as well. It looks a little like a reversal pattern, but you only got 1 break lower. You don't get that double break. And on a range day, you know, if it's a, you know, it's just a range day really with a downward bias. This thing still really has a downward bias at this point. So, and notice how we make another lower high, and then another lower high, and another lower high, another lower high. That's telling you got a downtrend. And once you started going lower here, once you get through here, you're looking for that measured move to here. And if you measured the end of yesterday, you're looking for a measured move all the way back down to here. So, not a great day. We've had some pretty good moves the last few days or so. Last week we had a really good week, so it doesn't surprise me that we're maybe consolidating a little bit today. We'll see where we go from here. But not much else we can say about today, so I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you had a good trading day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.